of all of these germs and inflammation that is going on, the intestines are in a constant state of inflammation and are damaged. So that's why this leads to, or at least contributes to, the stunting that we see in the children, and that's why our response to the oral vaccines are so low, because the gut is just not as healthy at all. This is something that people have been talking about for a very long time. In 60s and 70s, there was a lot of literature on this. People, especially from the West, when they were working in the developing world, in the third world countries, they saw that the absorptive function of the gut in the children in the population there was poor. They had steatorrhea, and when they did the biopsies of those people back in the 60s and 70s, they found that the villi were all kind of like blunted and not as healthy as they were in the first world. And this was, they thought, was associated with restricted childhood. So what is this syndrome? So this, if you understand this concept, this will be very helpful. So what happens is that our population is exposed to fecally contaminated water and has inadequate diet. This leads to intestinal inflammation, which leads to intestinal damage and all. And the gut is supposed to do a few critical functions. It is a very important immune organ. It absorbs nutrients, has exocrine function, and kind of prevents the germs from translocating from within the lumen to the systemic side. All of these functions are compromised when your gut is damaged, when our child's gut is damaged. So this is why the body is in a constant state of inflammation. Okay? And if the body is in a constant state of inflammation, then whatever little reserves of energy that the body has, instead of spending it in growth, now it spends it on inflammation. So that is why your child becomes stunted. So this is an important concept. And why is 38% of our population stunted? There are three major things, right? One is in utero, the children are born kind of unhealthy because of the maternal compromise, breastfeeding is compromised, and then post breastfeeding wise, they have environmental toxin exposure, fecally contaminated water, inadequate diet. This leads to damage to intestinal inflammation, and the microbiome gets damaged, compromised gut physiology, all these functions are compromised, your vaccines fail, and you become stunted. This whole process of this side is called EED. Why is this important for us to know? It is important for us to know because if we want to tackle stunting in our population, we have to know this side of the equation. That's one thing. And this is our biggest problem. For a child who is severely stunted is 5 times more likely to die if he or she develops measles, severe diarrhea, or pneumonia. So this really increases our odds. The second reason that you should know is that a lot of the world's cutting-edge research on this topic is happening in Pakistan. And what I'll share with you is some of those research, and that should make us proud that there are some fields where Pakistan really is on the forefront of research. Because the good thing is that this research of environmental enteropathy cannot be done in the West because their children don't have this problem. So only we can do this, and the good thing is that we are kind of doing it. Microbiome is also a very, very important topic which doctors of today should know about. As you know, for every one human cell in our body, there are 10 bacterial cells that live in us. So 10 times more bacteria. So लोग मजाक से कहते हैं कौन किसको पाल रहा है? हम बैक्टीरिया को पाल रहे हैं, बैक्टीरिया हमें पाल रहा है, right? But the microbiome is really involved with malnutrition, with immune function, with infection prevention and impaired absorption, and there is a complex two-way relationship of microbiome. So if you fix microbiome, these things can improve, and if these things worsen, your microbiome will improve. It's a two-way relationship. What our group has shown and our collaborators have shown that gut microbiota immaturity kind of leads to or is at least associated with malnutrition in children. So normally, as the time passes, the profile of your gut microbiome evolves and you become kind of healthy. But for children who are malnourished, their gut microbiome just doesn't evolve and it is stuck in the previous stages. So there is a lot of experiments now going on that if you could somehow change or modify the microbiome of malnourished children, would it help in them kind of overcoming their problem of stunting or not? Vaccine efficacy is again a huge problem. As you know, in other parts of the world, one dose of oral polio vaccine, one round of oral polio vaccine, and they have eliminated polio. We have given so many, and only then now we are seeing some effects and all. The reason these vaccines don't work well is that our children have EED. So our gut is just not as immunogenic an organ. So that's why it needs up to 10 doses of polio vaccine for them to kind of seroconvert and become protective and all. So that's another kind of very important thing. What we showed for the first time is that rotavirus vaccine response kind of correlated with the infant gut microbiota composition. This is a study that we did in which we found that a particular kind of a microbiome signature was associated with better rotavirus seroconversion, and a lot more work needs to be done. How do you diagnose this thing? The tough thing about environmental enteropathy is कि आपको ऊपर से कुछ नजर नहीं आता. This is all happening inside. You don't have typical signs and symptoms of it. So you have to rely on biomarkers. And there are a series of biomarkers that can be tested. And here, some of the key research came out of Pakistan from our group in here, that there were different biomarkers that were proposed. And what we did was a series of studies where we followed about 400 children from newborn up until 2 years and collected these series of biomarkers in them to see what kind of correlates with the gut function and all. In a small subset of these children, based on the correct indications and all, we were also able to obtain biopsies in these children. So what we found in here was that, I'm not going to go into detail, but a few biomarkers of systemic inflammation, including ferritin, AGP and all, correlated with the growth. And then we found that a few biomarkers of gut function, especially GLP-2, fecal deoxygenase, fecal myeloperoxidase, correlated with the linear growth in these children. And interestingly, what we found was that IGF-1, all these biomarkers which were important for growth kind of correlated with IGF-1 and all, but they didn't really correlate with each other. So this is a framework that we propose, and it has really been taken in the field seriously. That basically there are two things happening. One is a gut inflammation, and the other is the systemic inflammation. Gut inflammation does lead to systemic inflammation, but there are other factors also that are causing systemic inflammation. Both of these things kind of merge and influence IGF-1, which then leads to growth failure. So this is a framework that kind of came out of Pakistan and all. Can we image the gut? So Dr. Chima's center is really the pioneer in terms of all the gut studies. We kind of also started to do this and got some good literature. Some of the first literature in recent times about how truly the gut structure is different in malnourished children compared to well-nourished children. And what we found was that compared to Western controls, the villus strip ratio and the villus volume was substantially less in children with EED. Then some very cool new technologies started to appear. Gates Foundation, Bill Gates himself got particularly interested in this, and this professor Gary Turney is a pathologist and an engineer at Harvard, developed this capsule, which the question is how do you image this thing, right, without doing endoscopy, because endoscopy we can't do it all. So this technology, we are the first outside of North America to use this, and actually the first in the world to use this to study malnutrition. And what we found in here, on the left is a 3D rendition of children in the US, and on the right is our malnourished child. If you see, the villi and the surface area is all just flat for our population, and in the West it's all lush, and high surface area and all. So this is kind of like one of the first, actually the first use of this tool to study the EED in here. Now the Gates Foundation is expanding it to 4 different countries, and we are one of the master trainers to teach them on how to use this technology. Then the work is really culminating in this study called SEAM study of environmental and raw material malnutrition in Pakistan. Here, what we will be doing is really study, what we have actually completed this, is really study in detail of how as the child gets progressively in the spectrum of children who are normal and some are extremely malnourished, what is the histopathological features in their duodenal and fecal dysbiosis, perturbation of gene expression and biochemical profiles in genotypes. So this again is some of the cutting edge work defining childhood malnutrition and EED that is coming out of Pakistan. So what I want to say now in conclusion is that EED is one of the key factors contributing towards childhood malnutrition and oral vaccine failure that we as doctors of Pakistan should at least be a little bit familiar with. Increasing evidence of two-way interaction between EED and intestinal dysbiosis. Exciting times ahead regarding whether intestinal dysbiosis is causal towards infant malnutrition or just a correlation. This is also being studied in mothers. We are doing a trial with seeing a local solution, for example, achar, which is a fermented food. Does that, the use of that actually improves the microbiome of mother or not? Then there are certain other, probiotic formulations that we are testing now in our mothers to see if those kind of improve the microbiome or not. So a lot of this research is going to be coming out of Pakistan. Influencing microbiome could be one strategy to improve the immunogenicity of oral vaccines in our part of the world. And there are exciting times ahead for eating chronic malnutrition, and much of this research is going to come out of Pakistan. Thank you very much for your time.